Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrible General Health System's Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.
Yeah, not a surprise at all. You know, when you look at the bracket, when it comes out, you obviously get focused on the game in front of you, and then you kind of look to that first game, what it might be, and I mean, that's basically who I anticipated that we would play. Great team, great talent, enjoy competing against them, and should be a great night for college baseball.
I'm just curious, everyone seems to love Scott Berry. You have any interaction and stuff with him?
Yeah, very, big time respect. You know, to be a mid-major coach at programs that were successful, I think I kind of appreciate the challenges, and there's a few of them like Southern Miss that have kind of ascended to their own level in that regard, and that takes great coaching, great recruiting, great leadership, great culture. The guy's a winner, and you know, it's somebody that I admire a lot.
The ballpark in Omaha is not exactly hitter-friendly, I guess. So can you elaborate what makes it difficult to play there?
You know, I think it's bigger, and I think you know, what is a hitter's ballpark? I think maybe it's a little bit relative to what Rosenblatt used to be like, which was a launching pad. So I think it's evolved into more fair recently. And, you know, winning baseball is winning baseball. And then there's just creating an awareness of some things that might be unique about it. And so we'll spend some time, you know, doing that and make sure we're plugged in and dialed into what we need to do. I think the thing that gets lost of it not being a hitter's ballpark either is if you're in Omaha, you have great pitching, as we do, as all these other teams do. So it's just flat out harder to score when you're facing the opponents that are usually there.
You've been out there many times. Is the fly balls and the twilight at Stanford a real thing?
Man, that was tough to watch. I mean, for anybody, like no rooting interest whatsoever. A lot of respect for Coach Esker at Stanford. A lot of respect for Coach Pierce at Texas. I recruited Lucas Gordon, the pitcher, harder than probably any player in my life when I was at Arizona, and he chose Texas over us, and so felt bad for him that it ended that way. You know, it's baseball in some ways. I've seen, I guess what I would say is I've noticed that has happened a lot. I mean, in our games throughout the year. I mean, we had a tough sky against ULL, and I mean, Dylan's best player in the world lost a fly ball. Trey lost a fly ball. I feel like it's happened to our opponents like 6 or 7 times this year. I've seen it happen more this year than I've ever seen in my entire life. But you hate it for a game like that, with those two caliber teams, with that on the line, to kind of end like that.
I know that obviously the season's not over, but when you look back at the regular season, regional, super regional, do you think it was just an accomplishment for these guys to not let entitlement set in, knowing that they had to earn this trip to Omaha and not just handed it to them?
Yeah, I think the accomplishments, I mean, entitlement, it's a good word, and to be the complete opposite of that is a great quality in your team, and that's our team. I mean, they are very mature in their approach. We've been very intentional about our approach, and this is a special deal getting there. I mean, because outside of Riley, Bryce, and Christian, none of the players have been to Omaha, so it's a big accomplishment, and they knew they had to go earn it. With that being said, I mean, we clearly set a goal that is beyond being in the College World Series, and they believe in themselves at a high level. They know what elite preparation looks like. They know what being in the moment looks like. I think they've exhibited that over the past 2 weeks as good as you possibly can. Those things will serve us well with where we're headed and what we're doing. But becoming a team and having a legitimate process that's defined, that they work through on a daily basis, and respecting that. What we talked about going into the super regional is like getting there and having an opportunity to play there is going to be more worth it and more fulfilling because of how they've respected what they need to do. And I'm really proud of them for that.
Coach, to that point, coming into the season, we talked about buying into your expectations. So this program, these guys, buying into that, with your style of coaching as well, how much does that play a role into where you are now?
It's everything. And we started talking about it from day one last year. Like, you can wait and see how this goes, you know, this different approach to things, and we're just going to waste time. But I haven't had any pushback fight. It's like, if you want to do it, it's got to be like an immediate like trust. And on my end, I know I have to earn that from them. You know what I mean? And how I work and how we prepare and all of those types of things. But let's not waste time, in feeling this thing out. And they didn't do that. And for sure, the guys that are still here that we chose to be here, you could call whatever you want, all in, bought in, buy in. It's at the highest possible level. Like there's been no issue with that. And then not only that, they've pushed it forward themselves as players, and that's where the player leadership with so many guys, Paul, Dylan, Cade, Gavin, Ty Floyd has really emerged in that regard. So it's something, another thing that I'm the most proud of.
What was your message to Ty Floyd after that game? Just because I know he seemed like he was down when he was walking off the mound.
On Sunday?
Yes.
I thought he did a good job. And, felt like it was 120 degrees on the field. The place was going to be a launching pad that day. I mean, we took the best batting practice I've ever seen, on Sunday. And, I mean, guys were hitting balls that looked like singles that were line drives going over the fence. And it was like, hold on to your hat today. And so I think he did more good than he didn't. And I don't know if that sounded right, but looking at the first inning, and this has happened in several key SEC wins, is he gave up a homer in the first inning. It happened against Tennessee. It happened against Alabama.
I'd tell you that hitting under pressure is harder than pitching under pressure. So me knowing that, just kind of going at the hitter and forcing him to beat me, that's my only thought process.
Did you throw much relief in high school, just strictly a starter?
My junior year, I started off coming out of the bullpen just because we had more starters, and then they wanted to just keep me at shortstop. But my senior year, I was strictly a starter.
How's it been to go back to being a reliever, knowing that you got to get the job done immediately? There's no lead in.
I mean, I love it. Coming in there as a reliever, there's just a lot of adrenaline, a lot of energy. You can feel it. There's times that it's not nerves. There's times I can just stand on the mound and like my hands just kind of shaking just from all the adrenaline pumping through my body, and it's really, really fun. It's really cool pitching in front of 10,000 people with the game on the line, and it's the best feeling ever.
Gavin, for you to put the bow on Sunday's game there, you walking around, you going to practice, and you're seeing these Omaha signs, how much does that really feed into you all's hunger?
Yeah. It still doesn't really feel real. I don't think it'll feel real until we start pre-game for our first game. But, that's like when I just first walked in earlier. I looked at Jordan. I was like, dude, we're going to Omaha. Like, that's crazy. It's just crazy to think about that. It's been since 2017 since LSU's been to Omaha. And, this is why I came to school. This is why I came here. This is why I committed here whenever I was a junior in high school. And this is why I decided to come to school instead of getting drafted, because I wanted to go to Omaha with LSU, and I wanted to try to go win a national championship.
Gavin, where does your confidence come from?
I've always been pretty confident on the baseball field, but, it helps whenever you have guys in the locker room that we have. They've welcomed the older guys, the new transfers, Paul, Thatcher, all the guys, Christian that came in. They've welcomed all the freshmen, like, from the very first day and made us feel like we weren't freshmen. And then we got back from Christmas break, and they kind of told us, y'all aren't freshmen anymore. Y'all are just LSU baseball players. Like, it's time to kick it into gear. Like, we need y'all. Y'all's class is really good. Y'all are going to help us win a national championship. And so they made it known that we were a big part of the team. So, it kind of helped us just settle in.
You didn't start pitching until, we've talked about it, but you didn't start pitching until, February. And so, how have you kind of, gathered that confidence through time as a pitcher, since you didn't plan on pitching when you came here?
Just trust in me, trust in my teammates, them putting a lot of trust in me, coming up to me and, telling me how good I am, this and that, just constantly just feeding positivity from the coaches, from the players, and then just myself, positive self-talk every single day, during catch play, during bullpens, during pregame, then pregame bullpen right before I'm going to the game, just always talking to myself, just pumping positivity.
How has Wes brought you along, pitching-wise?
Wes is great. That's like I was saying. I didn't start pitching until February, and he helped me get my arm into shape really, really quick. And then, getting your arm in shape, it's a grind whenever you aren't on the mound for a little while, and then trying to get back into it as far as, like, where your body's at. Your body, once you start moving down the slope, it kind of shocks your body. And so, he did a really good job getting me back in, easing me into it. And then once my body was ready to go, like, it was time to go out there and compete. And from the very first pitch I threw in game, it's like I was saying, positivity. He's the most positive person I've ever met in my life.
What's it like to?
It's wild. It's every single day he's just feeding positivity.
What's it like to end the inning, freezing the guy on a 3-2 pitch and watch it?
It feels really good. I like whenever they swing more, though. Swing and misses are really fun. I just like striking guys out in innings and listening to the crowd, whenever every single person in the stadium is locked into the game and knowing that they know how big of a spot we're in and them supporting us, it's a lot of fun.
Did you think you were going back out from the ninth that day?
I thought I was coming out in the 8th inning for a second. Whenever they had 2 lefties coming up to bat, and Nate was warming up in the bullpen. I thought they were going to go to Nate, but then they ended up leaving me in. And then whenever I came in the dugout, Coach Wes and Coach Jay came up to me and they were like, "Hey, this is your game. We're rolling with you." And same thing, feeding positivity. It was your game. We're rolling with you. Like, we have full trust in you. Go win us a game. So that's what I went out there and did.
That big of a crowd can be kind of nerve-wracking. It seems like you feed off of it.
Yeah.
Would you say that's your thing? Because I saw you bob your head a little bit after you
Yeah.
struck out the second guy.
Yeah, I love noise. Noise. It's almost people react different ways in different situations, and a lot of people, they try to zone that stuff out. But I'm never on the mound trying to zone out the crowd and zone out the noise or anything. I fully embrace it whenever everybody's standing up with 2 strikes in the 9th inning with 2 outs. There's times where I'll just kind of sit there and shake my head let's get it going, get up, get loud. I feed off of it. I love it, and it's going to be really fun pitching in front of 28,000 people this weekend.
At the beginning of the year, Gavin, did Jay, what was Jay's picture for this season for the entire team? How did he frame it, and now did it look like that?
Going into Omaha, so that was the goal. Our goal from day one was to go win a national championship. That's the goal we set from the very first day, very first practice. So, the roles may not be the same. Obviously, there's injuries. There's guys that have emerged that weren't as much on the radar at the beginning. But, as far as the team goes, yeah, we've knocked off pretty much every single thing. This is how I imagine us coming in, playing really good in the postseason, rolling into Omaha hot.
Both sides for that play to be able to be made. So I'm just, super happy that Trey was able to hold the bag and make a really big stretch to be able to complete it.
Jordan, with your defense from last year to this year, have you kind of had some self-reflection about all the hard work that you've done and how far you've come? Because you're fantastic this year. Have you done a little patting on the back this year at all?
A little bit, just because of, it was kind of rough last year, having to play the way that I did, maybe not being able to get to as many balls or, make the plays that I usually do because of the injury that I had and having to, play after basically having surgery 3 weeks after the season started. But I don't know, I feel like that's something that I'll probably do when the season's over, whenever that comes. But there's been a couple of times where if I make a cool play or something like that, something that maybe I couldn't have done last year, and I'll see that I'm doing it this year. I'll look at it a couple of times and think it's pretty cool. But it's on to the next, and we just keep practicing, trying to get better every single day. That's kind of our thing. So just not really trying to worry about what's happened before, but continuing to be where our feet are and continue to get better.
When you make a play like that on Sunday, what's sort of the key mechanically to pulling off something like that?
Trusting my preparation, things that we do every day in practice. I probably made that play 5 to 10 times in our pregame infield outfield, just because I knew that if there was an opportunity to do it, I want to be able to make that play. So I think really just trusting my preparation is the biggest thing to be able to make plays like that. Being confident in the work that I've put in practice and stuff like that, and just letting it show up on the field.
I heard there was kind of a team players meeting after the SEC tournament. and since then y'all have had some success. So like, what was kind of said in that meeting, and what do you think, did that change the trajectory of this team?
Yeah, I think we all could agree on as a team that we probably weren't playing to the standard that we were playing at the beginning of the season, and we really just needed to get back to who we were as a team, and take more pride in every single at bat, every single pitch, and just trying to get the job done, and knowing that these are the last times that this group will ever be together, and we just want to cherish every moment. And we don't want to lose. We don't want to stop playing with each other, so we're going to do whatever it takes on every single pitch to continue playing.
Who kind of led the meeting, do you remember?
Coach had us all together at first, and then after that broke apart, we had a position players held meeting where everyone kind of just chimed in and said their thoughts on what was going on and what we were doing before that made us so special, and maybe what we weren't doing at the time. And we kind of just came to a point where it was like, all right, this is all or nothing right now, and we're not looking back. So we kind of just ran with that and just trying to fight every single day to keep playing together.
For the guys who have been to Omaha, what have they sort of said about that experience and some of the unique aspects of being there?
Yeah, no one on this team. Oh well, Bryson and Coop have been there, but from previous teams, Christian also. But no one from like my incoming class or like Beloso and that have been there. But we were on teams the past couple of years with guys that had been, and they were just talking about how it's the most incredible experience of their life, and that it's the best atmosphere, best baseball, and it's something that they'll never forget. And I just can't wait to be a part of that.
Kentucky's coach talked about the bottom of y'all's order, how tough it is. Is there a pride among y'all? I mean, you and Braden and Pearson about not making it easy?
Yeah, I mean, we just take pride in our bats, and we don't want to give away any pitch, any at bat, and we know what the bottom of the order can do for the top of the order. I mean, we don't think of our 7, 8, 9 as 7, 8, 9 hitters. It's more like another 1, 2, 3, because once we can get on base, then you have Dylan who can drive us in, and then you have Tommy who can drive us in, and then you have Trey who's going to get on base and drive guys in. So, it's kind of a no-break type of thing where, we don't want to let off the gas pedal. So every time, someone new comes up to the plate, they're just trying to do their job and get on base so we can just keep the line rolling.
Jordan, in what ways has Paul being on this team changed this team in the short time he's been here?
Yeah, I mean, you see what he does on the mound. Just from a talent aspect and stuff like that. He's an ultimate competitor, but, he really brought that leadership quality that I feel like, the team needed. And everyone kind of, circles around him, and we look to him, and he always knows what to say. He's just, one of the best character people that I've ever met, and I'm so glad that he's on our team because he's truly made us, better on the field, but better off the field as, we've come together as a team and became super close, and he's a big part of that. You can't speak more highly about him for sure.
When in your mind did he sort of do something that made you think, oh, that is one of the leaders of our team? Like, when was the thing that made you think?
Probably like within the first couple of days. Him and a couple other guys were transfers, obviously, but they didn't come in, like transfers. It wasn't that type of thing. It was, we want to win a national championship, and these are the things that we need to do to win a national championship. So I think he, was fully invested in the team from the first day, and that's exactly what you want, and that's what it takes to be able to get to the point that we want to get to. So I think for him to come in and kind of just right away be a leader for the team, I mean, that's something that not a lot of guys are able to do, or for other guys on the team to be so accepting right away. But it wasn't like that. It was, okay, Paul's coming in, he's got this to say for us, and he's going to make us better, and everyone's listening. You could tell when when he speaks, guys listen. Whatever he says, it means something to everyone. So, I mean, he's a big part of everything that we've been doing this year.
Do your friends